I was before reading that, so I never saw it. Well, it's I'm
Good afternoon. Minister Anna Phelan, Senator von Turnhout, guests. You all very welcome today to the launch of the Social Innovation Fund Ireland. My name is Terence O'Rourke and I'm the Chair of the Social Innovation Fund Ireland. Over the next hour or so, and the timing for those of you who are curious about those things, we should be finished with the formal part so later than 5:30. Over the next hour or so, we'll tell you a little bit more about our big plans, what we've done so far, and most importantly, introduce you to our first 4 awardees. We hear from our Deirdre Martell, our CEO. We're delighted that our teacher will also be here. And you'll meet the 4 awardees and they'll tell you their stories as the teacher presents them with their awards. We will conclude at about 5:30 with a networking and celebration reception courtesy of our good friends in Wicklow Wood. I'll tell you the hashtag for those of you tweeting is the hashtag SIFI Awards. And we'll be live tweeting and live streaming on our new YouTube channel as well for the whole event. So that's great. A number of people said they haven't been here before. It's a fantastic venue in City Hall, in the City Council offices. But this is the actual original Irish Hiberno City Wall, dated from 1100, the original wall that was left here in Keith. So it's a great venue, an historic venue for an historic day today as we launch the fund. Before we get to the really exciting bits, I just want to say a few words about what we're trying to do. As the Chair of the Social Innovation Fund Ireland, I'm thrilled that you all join us for our launch and showcase. Our vision is of an Ireland with the world's best system for supporting social enterprise. That's a big ask, but we think it's possible. And more importantly, we think it's timely. We believe that social innovation is the key to Ireland's recovery. Most of us believe that innovation is the key to economic recovery. Wearing my other hat as Chair of Enterprise Ireland, I see every day that innovation is the critical ingredient in why Irish companies are winning export sales abroad and adding jobs and value add to Ireland's vibrant open economy. And if we believe that innovation is key to our continued economic recovery, it's not very hard to go one step further and believe that social innovation is key to our social recovery. What is social innovation? We describe it as a solution to a critical social or environmental issue here in Ireland. We've had plenty of social and environmental issues during the Celtic Tiger, and we've had plenty more now as we emerge from the economic crisis. We know from our work that communities, groups and individuals up and down Ireland come up with solutions to the issues that matter most to them. When we invented Donegal, it never seemed to get to Cork, or from Mayo to Carlow. That's why Social Innovation Fund Ireland was formed, to gather and provide the funds and other supports that are necessary to make that happen. And over the last year, as we've been tuning up and getting ready for our launch, we have learned that early stage social innovations need more support too. So in fact, our first open call, what we call the Animate programme, targeted early stage social innovations that tackle any social issue at all, as long as it makes an impact here in Ireland. I read last week a powerful story about the importance of social innovation. The story is not set in Ireland, but for me powerfully illustrates the critical importance of being innovative to solve social problems. Last year, a man called Hamdi Yulakaya, a Kurdish entrepreneur who created the billion-dollar US-based Chobani yogurt empire, traveled to Greece to see the swelling refugee crisis with his own eyes. And obviously somebody who grew up as a Kurd in Turkey and having then made his way in the States, he's very interested in the refugee crisis. Unsurprisingly, he's horrified by the human suffering he witnessed there. But Yulakaya was also appalled by something else, the hopelessly bureaucratic and old-fashioned nature of the organisations running the aid efforts. He explained that the refugee issue has been dealt with using methods from the 1940s, and and it's in the hands of UN and mostly government, and you don't see a lot of private sector and entrepreneurs involved. So we decided to act, establish a foundation called TENT to channel financial aid and innovation efforts into refugee work. And that foundation today is making a real difference. But if refugees and migration is perhaps one of the biggest social issues facing Europe today, we're only too well aware of many other social problems on our own doorstep. Many of the issues appear to be complex and intractable, but there aren't any that can be dealt with better than by injecting a fresh perspective, a dose of innovation, a new lens to help solve problems and make lives better for many in our communities. But how do we encourage social innovation? And as importantly, how do we scale social innovation and bring the spark and solution to as many as possible across the country? We did an analysis of why social innovation seems to be unable to grow and spread around the country. One key ingredient is the need for a booster rocket in terms of additional financing at critical tipping point stages in the evolution of a really smart social innovation. In business, we call that financial injection growth capital. And we know that it needs to be structured in a certain way and needs to be of a certain size in order to be effective in making innovations grow, not just start, but making them scale and grow to make a real impact. In the charity and non-profit sector, these funds are simply not available. So the two biggest philanthropic grant makers, One Foundation and Atlantic Philanthropies, closed in 2013 and 2015. So we looked internationally to see what we could learn from others. We've learned that many OECD countries had a similar problem, and governments have addressed it by putting in place a body to provide that critical pump priming. In some cases, the body is placed inside government, like the White House's Office for Social Innovation. In some cases, independent of government, like Nesta, sometimes called the Innovation Charity in the UK. Some of these are very practical, providing finance and really practical supports, and some are more like think tanks and knowledge centres, but all were government catalysed to solve the problem of having innovative solutions to critical social and environmental issues to grow and spread to where they were needed, and all brought together government funds with independent philanthropy to leverage the power of both. And so armed with this learning, Social Innovation Fund Ireland was catalysed by the current government to respond to this need. We are thrilled that the government has given us a challenge grant of up to €5 million. That means that every euro we raise in private philanthropy is matched by euro from government. And finally, we know that social innovation, especially social enterprise, can create jobs. Jobs that are spread through the 26 counties of Ireland, jobs that provide employment can also be socially the best quality jobs we have included. So as a part for a few moments, welcome the Taoiseach to our launch event this afternoon, and leave with a short video that helps us further explain what we're about and how we got there.
Social Innovation Fund Ireland is a non-profit, and our mission is to find and back the best social innovations in Ireland. Since I joined as CEO, I have been passionate about figuring out how we can solve our critical social problems. Social Innovation Fund Ireland has already secured a challenge fund of €5 million, which means that for every euro that's secured from our partners, it will be matched by a euro from the Irish government. Tell me, why did you get involved with the Social Innovation Fund?
Well, at the community level, we have lots of great projects out there which are solving social problems. As a nation, we fail to scale them up or to spread those solutions around. Now, what we need to do is make sure that every community is not reinvent the wheel. We've got to help them spread these great ideas right throughout the country. So I got involved with Social Innovation Fund Ireland because I know there'll be a way to make sure that these projects can scale and can be spread around. We know these projects can really make an impact in our society, but they need structured financial and other support. And as Social Innovation Fund Ireland, we know how to do that.
And as you've seen, just as the video is playing, Taoiseach John, you're very welcome to that Taoiseach. So before we hear a few words from Taoiseach, and indeed meet our awardees today, Taoiseach is going to be making the awards too, I'm pleased to introduce Deirdre Mortel, our CEO of Social Innovation Fund Ireland.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for coming. I'm Keisha, and friends and all kinds of guests. There's so many friends here today. It's just fantastic. It's been just a year since we got going, and I'm to enable them to scale and maximize their impact. It's a big mission, and we intend to build a substantial fund of €10 million plus in order to make that happen. The government's challenge, which we just talked about a minute ago, is a big challenge, but we intend to meet it. So for every euro that we raise in private philanthropic donations, it's matched by €1 from government. So what is social innovation anyway? Lots of you have already asked me that today. Social innovation is a solution that's innovative to any critical social or environmental issue. We're interested in social innovations that have an impact here in the Republic of Ireland. And we do this through open calls for projects. So today we're going to mark the first grantees, reflecting that. We opened our call last September, and in just 4 weeks we had 58 applications. Now, to make it, they needed to be, as Sharon said, early stage, but they needed to be a bit beyond startup. Not yet well developed. They had to be innovative in the context of Ireland. They had to address critical social and environmental issues. They needed to be scalable, and most importantly, they needed to want to scale up. There's lots of projects that are scalable, but the leaders don't always actually want to take them to the next community, the next county, the next part of Ireland. And finally, we had to be convinced that being part of the Animate programme was going to benefit them at this moment in time. So what does the Animate Award consist of? It's a package worth €20,000, which is a mixture of financial support in the form of a grant of up to €10,000 and also non-financial supports. And they include things like a mentor, consultancy, business support focused on growth or business planning, and also sharing our networks. And I suppose we believe that the powerful mixture of the right finance at the right time, mixed with a tailored group of non-financial supports, is a really powerful offering to help innovative projects to go to the next stage. And we think we're going to show that through the results of the Animate programme, starting with our 4 awardees here today. In a word, it's Ireland's first non-profit accelerator. So we've stolen a little bit from the tech world in terms of what is the mix of those non-financial supports. How do you put them together and mix them with money at the right time, structured the right way? So that's our model, but we don't think we're grant makers. We think that we're backing innovations that have the potential to be disruptive in their fields. And that can really go a long way to helping us solve our critical social issues. But let me be very clear again. The Animate programme is just a first step, okay? So our vision requires us to raise and to offer much bigger chunks of capital that really target growth. So we're really talking about launching a growth fund that will offer, we would like to be offering grants in the 100,000, $250,000 with tailored non-financial support for that. That takes much more proven innovations to every county in Ireland. That's where our vision requires us to go, and what we're doing is calling out today to say that's what we intend to do, and calling on you to help us. And everybody here can be involved in one way or another. So come and talk to us, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. So let me give you a couple of examples. Our first programme, Animate, was supported by a small number of individuals, families, and one company. And I want to acknowledge today their support. Shane Deasy, Ian and Shirley Finnegan, Roshan Gutkin and Joey Mason, the Quinn Family Foundation, and one person who wishes to remain anonymous, plus Planning Inc., a company, got together and have backed Animate. That's the reason why we were able to launch it so quickly. It doesn't take that much to do something really powerful. So we're inviting everybody here to think today about whether they can contribute in some way. This is our Entrepreneurs and Innovators Circle. They get together twice a year with us and with our grantees. They get to meet each other, and maybe you're interested in joining that. We also work with companies to help them advance their mission, but also advance ours. So we're inviting companies to come and talk to us about launching your unique innovation challenge. We know how to run innovation challenges. We're not seeing much of them in Ireland at the moment. innovation that could advance your mission and leverage your brand. Maybe you're a health insurance company that's thinking about, are there preventive health innovations that we should be accommodating into our business in some way, considering our insurance policies, or considering under our CSR program. So this could be something to talk about with your innovation team, your strategy team, or your CSR team. So, think about it. Come and talk to us. It could be solutions to lack of access for poorer people or for the squeezed middle. It could be in the field of health. It could be technology for them. It's wide open. So we work across all critical social issues. What we're interested in is finding and backing those innovative solutions that either are proven to work or that are promising. We crowdsource the solutions through open calls, and we reach out beyond the usual places that people look. We can reach into the community sector, the voluntary sector, universities, academics, students. So we have very wide reach, and we can look in places where companies don't always want to go. So innovation takes place everywhere, and we've been too siloed in where we look for it and how we look at it in the social front. So even before that, a few other individuals came on board to back our vision right back at the very beginning. And I want to thank them also. Gareth Morgan and Jane Iger, Leslie and Carl Buckley, Tom Moran of Mutual America, and of course the Ireland Funds have been absolutely core to helping us getting going right back at the beginning. And I want to thank them because they backed us when we hadn't even done anything yet. And those people are hard to find, so thank you. And finally, a few visionary companies and organizations got together to help us out with pro bono services. They're really important too. So I just want to mention in particular Connect, which is part of the Department of Computer Science in Trinity. Connect have provided us with accommodation right from the very beginning, and we honestly would not be here without them. So thank you. We have Heaton PR who are helping us out here today. Thank you. The Thomson Reuters Foundation, CHQ Building, Dogpatch Labs, Harmonics, Red Dog Design, and I also want to mention Social Entrepreneurs Ireland, who provided us with so much help right back from the beginning. Thank you. And 4 talented and very experienced mentors are the 4 mentors to our first round of projects. They're here today. They're here today. You'll get to meet them. Alex French, John Fitzgerald, Tom Costello, and Kieran Daly. Thank you. I know you're going to make a big difference. Finally, I want to mention our board, who have been amazing. Terence O'Rourke, Rashid McGuffin, John Higgins, Katrina Bottrell, Shane Deasy, and Gareth Morgan. They backed us with energy, passion, and also finance. Thank you. And I also want to mention Frank Flannery, who was our former chair, and who made a critical contribution at the early stage. And I must remind you that non-profit directors don't get paid, but you wouldn't know that from the board. So we set up with a big vision that Terence outlined, because we really believe that social innovation can make a powerful contribution to advancing our economic recovery, but also closing the gap between the economic and social recovery. And if we don't do that, we will feel that pain for a long time. So we really believe that's very important and that we can play a key role in. And the other thing is, we know that social innovation can also be about job creation. There'll be just about 80 jobs created out of 4 projects that we have back today. And those are high quality jobs that meet local need and that are in every corner of Ireland. So they're really those hard to find jobs that we all want to see in communities around the country. So finally, at Social Innovation Ireland, we believe that backing amazing social innovations, like you're going to hear about in a minute, creates jobs and solves social issues. And the right finance and support at the right time can make all the difference. We know from our animate applications there's no shortage of social innovations for backing. We're ready. Are you ready? Come and help us. So there's lots of ways to get involved. Chat to us tonight or contact us afterwards. Are we a nation of social innovators? We think so. Thank you.
We're now moving to the high point of this afternoon's event, which is recognising and celebrating our first awardees. I'm delighted that Fishkiss here has helped me make those awards. But I'm thrilled to introduce you to the first 4 awardees of Social Innovation Fund Ireland. I think they're tremendous examples of the strength and diversity of social innovation we already have in this country and that we don't get to hear enough about. Their stories are probably the most eloquent way to illustrate the power and effectiveness of social innovation. Now is your chance to hear these stories, so we ask you to listen carefully. And I'm going to introduce them in random order. Our first awardee is Recreate. Founded by a consortium of organisations including Early Childhood Ireland, South Dublin County Partnership, Oakfields Trust, Tallaght Community Arts and South Dublin County Council, and led by CEO Dara Connolly, Recreate's mission is to increase creativity and curiosity through the creative reuse of clean, unused industrial materials. Recreate is a social enterprise aiming to finance 80% of its costs through revenues generated by its work. And what impressed us about Recreate was how it tackles a range of social issues, from encouraging creativity in children to diverting materials from landfill, all through a single solution, the Warehouse of Wonders in Ballymount, Dublin. Here's a little more.
Recreate is a social enterprise that is set up here in Ballymount. 2 years ago, this was a cold grey warehouse, and now today it is fully brimming with absolutely beautiful, clean, all kinds of different materials. We have around 140 different suppliers coming in, giving us small businesses from all the corners of Ireland, giving us clean, reusable materials. So what we do is that we mix the materials and we show the type of things that can be done. There's a bit of suspense for people coming in the door. It's going, what are we going to have today? It's different every time we come in. That's the beauty of Recreate. We try to rearrange it. We show the art by chandeliers hanging from the ceiling made of cups. We've got elephants made of cardboard. We've got dresses made of tin cans. We've got swans, giant bears. We display them as colourfully and as creatively as we can here in the space. People walk through the door and they basically, there's no checkout. This is their space. The beauty of this project is about creativity. It's about opening up the opportunities for people to do whatever they want. We've got 120 tonnes diverted from landfill this year. I know we're hoping to bring that up to around 200 within the next year. To become a viable social enterprise is the key point, but there's a number of different targets that we have to actually achieve that. We also would love to scale up the model around Ireland. There's a lot of interest in the franchise model around the country, and we're currently exploring that. The solution is environmental, we're diverting materials from landfill, we're creating jobs, and we're saving schools a fortune. But at the core of it, it's about creativity and making that possible. The mentoring opportunities, the publicity element, the mentoring is going to be absolutely key while we work on our new strategic plan for the next 3 years. And of course, the funding. We're all looking for funding.
So, to invite Dara to come up here, and the teachers will make the awards. Dara, say a few words.
Right. Look, I'm absolutely delighted to be here, and I'm very honoured, and I'm here on behalf of course the board and the staff of Recreate. There's a lot of people come together to make this possible. I'm very excited about the future to Recreate. We're making affordable and accessible art materials to every sector of the community in Ireland, and you know we've got great plans for the future. We see real social impact coming from what we're doing. We've had around 120,000 people have access to our materials just this year alone, from creches to schools to community groups, special needs groups, and to families. Recreate is for everybody. And so there's a huge amount of benefits for the working with open-ended materials. We don't have time, we won't get a minute to talk. For the young and for old. But we're also creating jobs. There'll be 6 jobs created by March. We've got 17 artists working with us on a part-time basis, and we have around 50 chiefs and special needs individuals that have trained fantastic work experience within the centre. So, We Create is working very, very well. We're delighted and we really, really appreciate the help from the Social Innovation Fund. And it just shows, when you bring the right people together and they've got the passion and the enthusiasm for a project, anything is possible. So thank you very much.
Congratulations again to Dara, the team and the board. Our second awardee this afternoon is Thriftify. Thriftify is developed by social entrepreneur Ronan O'Donnell, who I've known since he was a student social entrepreneur in DCU. Thriftify's mission is to bring charity shops alive by helping them glean more value from the related stock, starting with second-hand books. Thriftify is just a year old and uses software and a new approach to operations to do this. As Social Innovation Fund Ireland, we were impressed by the scale of Thriftify's vision to go international in its first 18 months, and we believe this could be a disruptive innovation in the charity shop market.
Thriftify actually means thrift shop, which is a charity shop. The American word for charity shop is a thrift store. And Thriftify is to bring charity shops to life. And really that's what we want to do with our software, is give them the tools and the software and the operations to help them take up their current operations and maximise that, make a lot more money and therefore have a bigger impact on society. In Ireland and the UK, charities receive 16 million books every year. Now what happens to the vast majority of those books is they go initially to a charity shop, the charity tries to sell books that can be sold are often shredded, and in a lot of instances they're losing books that are actually money. We've currently partnered with Ireland's second largest charity retailer. They have 72 shops across the country, and we have a specific facility where we're actually taking in products that have been donated to that charity, and we're building our software based around what books for the charity. In our pilot so far, we've processed around 20,000 books so far. Only about 11% of those are actually saleable online. On our pilot phase, we will generate an additional €250,000. Our goal for the next 3 months is to build the finalised version of our software. And after that, we really want to start scaling. We want to go to the UK where the charity retail sector is also much bigger. I think the Social Innovation Fund, apart from the very tangible supports that it can provide us in terms of finance and support, is also providing a much bigger support, which is the recognition and the awareness that social entrepreneurship and social innovation doesn't just have its place. It's not a niche anymore. It's becoming mainstream. And we're demonstrating that social innovation can have a huge, huge impact.
So call out Ronan and we'll get his award from you.
Taoiseach has asked me to explain it, so I guess I have. I'm one of the weakest ago, I live in Sheriff's Bedroom, I was a singer from Woody and one of the weakest ago I do. Software you've seen there is pricing books digitally live online, so we're actually communicating with various online services to price books live, and then we have an algorithm which tests whether or not we can make money on it. So the plan really is to take it international because we believe it can have a big impact. I think we're well placed to do this as a social enterprise. And I think that the most important point in what we're doing in all of this is really about positive social change. I think my generation, I'm biased, but I think we are the most equipped, best generation to solve some of the problems we come up against with technology and the level of education our generation is probably the single most equipped generation in the history of humanity. And I just really want to thank the government, Deirdre Martell, and everyone who supported the fund, because we really can have a big impact if we support young people and if we support social innovation. So again, Mil Wilkes, and look forward to chatting to somebody about it.
Our third awardee is Carebright. Carebright is a community-based social enterprise with an 18-year track record of delivering high-quality care, mainly older people, in rural Limerick, Cork and Kerry. This year, they will build a dementia home, Ireland's first dementia-friendly homes in Rough, County Limerick. As we all begin to live longer, the numbers of us with dementia will rise, and an extra 12,000 people will live with dementia in the next 5 years in Ireland. So we need to get ready as a country. Carebright impressed us with their radical vision of living a fulfilled and positive life with dementia, and we believe this can be a legacy model for how we can live in the future.
Carebright was founded 18 years ago. The majority of our business that we provide is home care into people's homes, looking after people in their own homes. We have people who are quite young, who've been diagnosed with chronic illnesses and dementia, and then we have people ranging from, we have babies, all the way to our oldest client is 102 years of age.
Right now, over 60% of our clients have dementia. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to address the way the level of care for people who are living with dementia changes. We are proposing to build a dementia community hall in Limerick based on the Tohunter Castle model.
We are building 3 bungalows, and in each bungalow will be a self-contained unit, which will comprise of somebody's living room, a bedroom, their ensuite bathroom. You will have a communal kitchen, so people can get up when they like, get their breakfast when they want, do their laundry, hang it out, and have their own garden. And from that garden then we'll proceed on to various sensory gardens, an orchard, farm pasture, and a cafe. The cafe will be very important, that will be run commercially, but it will allow people not just to look at our centre as people with dementia, but will allow people to come in, people who are visiting, have a playground for children, to bring, because it is an escalating problem, not only in Ireland, but worldwide. We're trying to alleviate that, to make it normal that people are living with dementia, they're not suffering from dementia.
What we're trying to do is to ensure that they live the best life they possibly can and as independently as they can.
Our plan for the next 6 to 12 months is that by March 2016 we will be on site. Our site is already cleared and it's ready for the contractors to come in. Our aim is that we will be open for clients and for people to live in the household model by September 2017. The Social Innovation Fund will help us immensely in the work that we're doing. So where we now need assistance is with recognition, with publicity of the project that we're doing, because we do not want this to be a project in Limerick. We want this as part of the dementia strategy for the government to see that this can be replicated and alleviate the current problem that we have in Ireland with people living with dementia.
So congratulations, Cadet Ryan and General.
My speech is a little bit long-winded. We'd like to thank the staff and board members, or the staff and board members of Carebright. We'd like to personally thank the Department of Health, the HSE, the JP McManus Foundation, the Network Fund, and the community at Rock for helping us to make our vision for Rock become a reality. This vision was born out of the belief that people with dementia could live a happy and independent life in a community environment. We would also like to thank the Social Innovation Fund Ireland for this award, which has provided us with access to leadership, mentoring and networking, while helping us to raise the profile of this unique model of care. Careright have been providing home care services in the community since 1998, employing over 250 employees and providing home care to 750 clients. Our clients range from the young to the old, and we have been supporting them with a consistency of care which allows them to live independently at home while dealing with their daily challenges. As a social economy business, our belief is to ensure that we give back to the community. We hope that providing an insight today into what we want to achieve at Rock, you will see strong evidence of that. Dementia is a growing and ever-increasing concern for the Irish population, and the platform is consistently and constantly changing. 60% of our clients are living with dementia. Nationally, the number of people living with dementia is due to increase by 12,000 in the next 5 years. There is strong evidence which supports that people living with dementia have a better quality of life through normalisation and occupations. Our aspiration is that this model of care is recognised and replicated nationally. This unique model of care will provide an additional 50 jobs in County Limerick. Thank you again.
And our fourth awardee is Save a Selfie. Save a Selfie is an app that helps you and me find a defibrillator when we urgently need one, using the power of the web and open data. And most of the time when it's not an emergency, it invites you and me to take a selfie with a defibrillator we see in the community and upload it to the app, crowdsourcing the data that populates the app. Save a Selfie has been developed by Sean Peters, who's a paramedic with Dublin Fire Brigade, and a volunteer with the Order of Malta, with the help of Code for Ireland. Association with Fund Ireland, we were impressed with the simplicity of the solution that Sean came up with. The potential to scale it through the Order of Malta partnership with 5,000 volunteers in the community across Ireland, and fundamentally, the potential this app has to save lives.
Last year in Ireland, over 5 deaths of people died of sudden cardiac arrest. Typically, a person walks past 15 devices every day that could save their lives. Defibrillators are commonplace in the community nowadays, but would you know where they're located if life depended on it? Save Selfie is an interactive mobile app that allows members of the public to take selfies with these life-saving devices. These images are then uploaded to our online database, along with the GPS coordinates for the devices, and shared with members of the public and the emergency services. The Save Selfie app also gives the users the option to share the location of these life-saving devices on social media with their friends and family. As a paramedic with the Dublin Fire Brigade and also a volunteer with the Order of Malta, I know that we must engage with the public better. Your chance of surviving a cardiac arrest decreases by 10% for every minute defibrillation is delayed. So knowing where the nearest defibrillator is located is key to improving the survival rates. For the first time, the Save Selfie app gives us the opportunity to engage with the public like never before. The app is free to download and easy to use. The Social Innovation Fund will help bridge the worlds between the emergency services, business and technology. Already, contacts have been made available to us that would have taken us years to establish on our own. The group mentorship has also helped energise our project. What I really look forward to is learning from the other participants. Even though our projects are different, we still come across the same problems. Now, with the funds and support from the Social Innovation Fund, we can bring the Save a Selfie app to launch within the next 4 months, which will directly translate into lives saved.
Sean?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Taoiseach. It has suddenly dawned on me that I'm much more comfortable running into a burning building than speaking in public. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Social Innovation Fund Ireland, Deirdre and Aisling and all the other participants. Personally for myself, this is a highlight in my career to be able to receive an award that allows me to give back to the Order of Malta. The Order of Malta has been instrumental in my career path, and taking this opportunity to help future paramedics is something I hold very dear. The Save Selfie app idea came to me after a number of tragic instances where defibrillators hadn't been checked or there was a failure, and it was only realised when it was needed to be used. This is a critical issue that we hope to address by crowdsourcing the information, engaging with the local communities and the emergency services, and I'd have to say with the Social Innovation help, we are certainly on the right track. So thank you very much.
Now, before we get a chance for all of you to meet and celebrate with our awardees and their fantastic stories, I want to introduce you to a person who's been a key supporter in making sure our fund got off the ground. Way back in July 2012, the Taoiseach launched the report of the Forum on Philanthropy and Fundraising, which looked at ways that Ireland could grow philanthropy, including both personal and corporate giving to good causes. Creating a National Social Innovation Fund was one of the recommendations of the report, so I'm especially glad that we're joined this afternoon by Taoiseach, who will speak to us in a few minutes. This Taoiseach backed the idea from the beginning and subsequently appointed a minister who has special responsibility for social enterprise, Sean Charlotte, and then our current Minister of State for Social Enterprise, Anne Phelan, who is here today. Along the way, a report on the potential for social enterprise was commissioned from Forfos, which clearly demonstrates the power and potential to create jobs while solving issues and providing critical social services in both urban and rural communities. There is much more that can be done now to allow social enterprise access the mainstream supports of business, and we encourage that the necessary next steps should be well reflected in the party manifestos for a certain upcoming election. We're delighted, Taoiseach, that you've joined us today to help celebrate this new baby conceived under your leadership and to help us well and truly launch it, and seeing your most appreciated funding, or the taxpayers' most appreciated funding, being put to good use. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm thrilled to introduce our Taoiseach Enda Kenny.
First of all, I want to say this is a magnificent building here. Do you ever cease to be amazed when you see the natural stone with a modern screen? You know, millions of years, the hands that shape those are nothing. Often been with the stone builders and the bridge builders and those who place the keystones in the railways and tunnels. Thank you for the presentation here. Quite brilliant. Challenge is there, raise 5, get 5. Like what you said, right finance, right time, non-finance, private support. Well done. And the 4 winners, thank you for all of the material that's not used by companies and firms. I hope they understand this. Or if they make the extra effort and help to do the work to you, they will provide enjoyment and wonder and opportunity for so many people. Well, I like the one about the books that there wasn't one of the 2 things there, one sale and one not. The funny was the only book that you took from one of the shelf was one about the price of pot. Thank you. This is what you're doing in Rough. It's so sensible. For people who are in the stages of dementia or going too far, sometimes hearing briefly going back again. It's so sad in so many ways. People who go through their lives and make a contribution, and suddenly when they look forward to a few years to have for themselves, it doesn't happen. But it does. to others of family members who lost somebody that they loved. I met with the university and the philanthropist recently in respect to a very major donation for examination of this, the issues of plaque disorders, and the hope that is a decade this will be something that might be better understood and maybe hopefully better. Sean, thank you. I notice, around the country you see the defibrillators at the sporting clubs or on the walls in towns where other things might be taken down or torn down for whatever reason, the defibrillators are not. I think your creativity, putting together this app for the patient is so important. It's the person who gets a heart attack and who saved by proximity on one of these defibrillators as you feel. The professional experience, it must be very satisfying to be able to say, I've put something there that's going to help out. And isn't that where we are as a nation, really? And you look at the extraordinary response from community in the last period when we've had difficulties from nature and instincts of how communities come together. That's actually what the power of Ireland is to communities. And it's through those cauldrons that so many people come up with new ideas that give comfort, that give opportunity, that give initiative, give careers, that give employment, give satisfaction. I was in a little place recently where it's like a mini country really, that is a parish. They've built their social housing, they've built their housing for vulnerable people, they attract the diaspora, the young people where they are, they bring the elderly in to talk to the younger people, show them how to do the plants and the vegetables and the seasons, and give them an understanding of the journey that we're on. And it's absolutely gratifying for them to be able to give out that experience and knowledge and information to the younger generation. So I know that this is your first award ceremony, David, and it's very well known for those you've chosen as award winners here. Congratulations to them all. It's not that that your award winners, these are people who've actually had the courage to express an idea and to make it happen. And they're out there in the thousands. And I really do think that in a world that is changing so rapidly, that this is something that we can grow in a uniquely Irish way. Is that space between society and the focus of trying to get an economic situation right. It's in there that the consolation, attraction, comfort, and satisfaction come. So, for young people to go to the warehouse and look at this, colours, shapes, materials, textures, these are things that will, I think, enlighten the left-hand side of the brain for people who have that imaginative creativity. Just came from the College of Further Education in Blackrock. I met 3 drug addicts. I met somebody who had been destroyed with acid in a nightclub. And I met the first human werewolf I ever met. These were all in the theatrical creativity end of the college. And you want to see what they could do with preparing people for theatre, for film, and for movies. So the addicts weren't real addicts, the werewolf wasn't real, her nose was something else, I have to say. And the same with the young lady who was destroyed by the acid. That creativity, that imagination is what has us with 9 Oscars for Hollywood and all of the other things that come attended from that. I often think that, as a nation of builders, of immigrants, we built many other nations in many other cities. And I've expressed that in so many ways. Here now in the modern world, with all of the connections that we have. There's a flowering on the left-hand side that has to come forth. And I would just say to Dara, the future is in very safe hands with the kind of winners we have here, the kind of young people that we have going through the system. These are the dreamers and the creators and the thinkers who are going to move us on beyond the frontiers that lie up ahead. You think that over the Christmas period. $70 billion were conducted with online sales in America. 40 billion of that by one company. And you think of the changes that are coming in the digital world, connected world, the collection of data, the use of that data. And I see major companies putting in their data contracts for facilities in Ireland. We get a global hub for that, and all that spins off it in the various social uses of all of that information, changing the world before our eyes. And that's where the forum of social innovation sort of fitting in so many ways. So thank you for what you do, and I hope that those who were involved in the forum on philanthropy will be able to continue their advice that they're mentoring and their results in terms of contributions to the fund. The government will not be funding that fund wanting to live up to its requirement. I think it was Henry Ford who said, a business that makes nothing but money is a poor kind of business. And that's true, because at the end of the day, it's all about people. I was trying to say at the gathering we had last afternoon, whatever else you do, we are a nation of people and economies or engines really, to provide facilities and resources to deal with problems, to deal with providing for people to do better and making markets as a country. So I want to thank you and congratulate you for what you do. I think you're willing to expose what this is about. And you did ask the ultimate question here. Are you ready? You said, we're ready. Are you ready? I would say the same thing in another forum. Actually, I'm ready, but are you ready? So, I toast to you all the winners of the Social Innovation Fund. It's a remarkable entity, and I look forward to seeing it prosper and thrive in times ahead.
I know you have to leave us now, but before you go, we want to give you a special gift. The gift we have today, not only for you, but for everybody in the room, we have, it's inspired by Triptify, and we're delighted to be the first person receiving it today. It's a book, and the wrapper on the book says, every great book begins with a great idea, and then it says, every great social innovation too. So, teacher, delighted that you're with us this afternoon. Thank you for your inspiring words. Thank you for your leadership in making sure that social innovation happens. We have the government support to make the kind of things we want to make happen. We'll begin to see that on the ground. So really thank you for your support. And I call on Ronan to present you with the first of the 55 books. And Minister Phelan, could I also ask you to receive your gift from Colette? All awardees. So now we're nearly at the networking and beer bit. We'll make a few concluding comments. We all know that seeing is believing, so I'm delighted that we have launched today the showcase of our first 4 awardees for our first program, the Elevate program, which targeted early stage innovations that address critical social issues. In this case, improving the profits for charity shops, enabling creativity while caring for the environment, building a new model for dementia care, and finding life-saving devices for the Christian media. A few final thank yous. First of all, to our wonderful CEO, Deirdre Mortel, but she tells me that making this event today happen, not only we want to thank the volunteers, the people in the teachers who continue making sure that you all got here safely, and we got out of here safely, but most of all to Aisling Redmond, who is with us in the front, And Ashley was the key person who put this whole event together and made sure it all happened. So on your behalf, I'd like to thank Ashley. So finally, we represent the company. We invite you to chat with us, as Deirdre said, about how you can partner on an innovation challenge or some other way. We're actually building a growth fund. The government will give us money, but only if we match it with donations from individuals or companies. So we see contributions from individuals, families and companies. And come and talk to us. Because that's what, you can see the difference that a little bit of money can make to really spreading a good idea. Remember, all donations are fully matched by government to back innovation and create jobs. And don't forget to take your gift. We have a gift, one for everybody in the audience. One of these 25 books. And don't forget to look inside the wrapper. There's a few messages in there as well. So, a book for everybody in the audience, take them on your way out. That's it. So, hope you join us for a drink, celebrate our achievements, celebrate the achievements of awardees, and thanks again to Wicklow Boys and beer, your budget. We have other